Hey MMA fans, Cage Minds, your host Mike Frankel, here to recap the biggest event in UFC history. We were talking about UFC 148, featuring the trilogy with Tito, Ortiz, Forrest, Griffin, and the all-important anticipated middleweight title rematch between Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. This was the biggest event in UFC history, also combined with the 15,016 people that were there live and the $7 million at the gate. I'm so excited. Let's recap all the action. Start off with the one Facebook prelim. Rafaelo Oliveira versus Yoslandi Escudero. We had predicted for Escudero to win with a TKO. That did not go our way, as Escudero was the more effective striker, landed the more damage, and did keep Oliveira backing up in the stand-up. Oliveira would take the fight to the ground, get inside control, attempt many Americanas and Kimuras, ground control. Oliveira gets a unanimous decision victory over Escudero. Move on to the next fight in the prelims. Starting off the FX prelims, it was John Alessio versus Shane Roller. Alessio was the better striker, dropped Roller twice, but Roller was the better grappler, took the fight to the ground, got the back, threatened with some rear naked chokes, rode out John Alessio. John Alessio with the quote of the night, "Stop riding me, let's fight." Best quote of the night. Not as dirty as a Diaz or a Maynard move, but still best quote of the night. Roller, back control, a lot of control, attempted to end the fight. Roller turned back into a grappler from just boxing with Michael Johnson, and Roller gets a unanimous decision to save his job. Moving further up those prelims, Constantinos Philippou versus Ricky Fukuda. Philippou, he hits harder. He hits more accurately. He caused more damage on Fukuda's face. I think Fukuda did actually outland Philippou, but you couldn't tell from the face contest. No doubt about it. Philippou was able to defend the takedown attempts of Fukuda, beat him up. The most effective offense Fukuda had was in the third round, a poke to the eye of Philippou that just enraged him, and led us to Philippou chasing around Fukuda at the last minute of the third round for Fukuda to only answer back with some grappling attempts. Constantino Philippou moving on still, keeping that winning streak going in the UFC with a unanimous decision. Now we move on to Melvin Guillard versus Fabrio Camoes. Guillard, more active striker, more accurate striker. Camoes tried to get some takedowns, tried to threaten at the end of the third round with a knee bar, but was ineffective. Guillard kept it standing. Guillard did what he needed to do and gets the unanimous decision win to get back on the right track. Last of the prelims that we're going to talk about, and I think these last two were out of order. Gleison Tibau versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Tibau outstruck Nurmagomedov, but Nurmagomedov kept pushing forward, kept trying to initiate the action, and in a really weird way, the judges credited Nurmagomedov for trying takedowns more than Tibau for defending the takedowns, which if you're defending something they're trying, don't you get more points for defending it? But for the aggression pushing forward, Nurmagomedov does get a unanimous decision. Now we move on to the pay-per-view card. Ivan Menjivar versus Mike Easton was the first matchup. And what this came down to was a striking battle of where Mike Easton's range, his length, worked out better for him. Mike Easton beats Ivan Menjivar, outstriking him, winning a unanimous decision. Next we're talking about Chad Mendes versus Cody Mckenzie. We had predicted for Mendes to wrestle, and win a unanimous decision like he did. I was hoping Mckenzie would get that Mckenzie team, but I wasn't expecting it. And to my chagrin, they stayed on the feet for the majority of the fight. The fight only lasted 31 seconds as Mendes lands a big right to the body of Mckenzie, dropping him, finishes him off with ground and pound. Mendes showing better boxing skills. Mckenzie was totally overmatched, and a lot of people were calling that the minute this fight was announced. Next matchup we're talking about, a welterweight debut. Dong Hyun Kim taking on the debuting Demian Maia. What ends up happening in this fight, instead of the long, beautiful grappling exchanges that we were thinking it was going to be, Maia takes down Dong Hyun Kim once. The hand positioning and the force of it ends up crushing and popping a rib on Kim. Demian Maia, first round TKO due to injury. Next matchup we're going to talk about, Cung Lee versus Patrick Cote. Cung Lee did a good job of keeping the distance. Cote didn't pressure. He let Cung Lee get off with the fancy kicks. Minimal amount of damage. Both guys threw a lot. Cote wasn't able to get the distance and land. He didn't pressure as much as he could. Unanimous decision goes to Cung Lee. Getting a couple trips too. He earned some takedowns, but ineffectively grappling because he did no damage on the ground. No submission attempts. He lied there and hung out for the end of the fight. Patrick Cote better luck next time. Cung was the better man on this night. And now we're talking about the co-main event. Forrest Griffin, Tito Ortiz, the end of the trilogy, the end of Tito Ortiz's career. Ortiz would come out with the emotion, with the passion, would put Forrest Griffin on his back, would start landing elbows in the first round. Well, Forrest would stand back up, use leg kicks, use the jab, use a variety of strikes, and would be picking Tito apart. Did that in the first round, did that in the second round. In the third round, Griffin does get caught by a right hook, dropping him, making him roll backwards. He stands back up. Ortiz rushes. Griffin evades and gets out of the way. Ortiz did get Griffin again on his back throughout the third round, but Forrest was able to stand up, nullify really most of the damage, evade it. And Forrest Griffin picked apart Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz, some bleeding, some swelling. Forrest Griffin, unanimous decision, wins the trilogy 2-1. Him and Tito Ortiz also, though, for that great battle, Fight of the Night award. Tito Ortiz, thank you for the memories. Tito was also trying to will his way into a job with the UFC now at the press conference, kind of sucking up to Dana White. That was interesting. Tito Ortiz, thank you for the memories. Now we move on to the main event. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen. The rematch we've all been waiting for. Let's get to the action. First round, Sonnen comes out within 6 seconds, puts Silva right in his back, and then we spend 5 minutes of Sonnen working from the guard to the half guard and trying to land ground and pound. My favorite part of the first round is as referee Yves Lavigne keeps telling them to work, and Anderson's doing everything he can to just hold on to Chael and nullify, even without work. The open hand palm slaps of Sonnen, which I don't count as effective strikes, seem to be really effective to Lavigne, as he thought that was enough work to keep the fight on the ground. But besides the lack of stand-ups that I had a problem with in this event, we go to the second round, and Sonnen tried to get Silva down. It didn't work. Silva was able to defend. Sonnen then comes with a spinning back fist, misses, falls to the ground. Silva lands a big knee to the sternum. Sonnen tried to stand back up again, but Silva drops him with a right, finishes it off with ground and pound. We have a second round TKO. Anderson Silva, once again, still the reigning undefeated UFC middleweight champion of the world and the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. Chael Sonnen, I guess we should say bye to him, because I remember at some point when he was hyping the fight, after one of his fights, he called out Anderson and said, "It's you and me, and the loser needs to leave town." So as Chael Sonnen, being the man of his word that he is, I would expect this is his retirement too, only because he's the one that was trying to make the stipulations. I wouldn't be calling him out saying I'm a hater of his or that I don't think he can compete anymore. It's just because he said it. And you could say it was just promoting fight hype, but I look at him as he keeps saying his word is his, bond. It's golden. So bye to Chael Sonnen. Anderson Silva is still the king. This has been Cage Minds. We were 7-4, 7 right, 4 wrong on our predictions. This has been Cage Minds. Uncage the warrior within yourself. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.